Behavioral science is about understanding how people respond to different situations. It's how might someone respond given a particular stimuli. And what we're particularly concerned with is the detail of that. So in development, one of the things which might be of use to take from this approach is the very specific details of how a program is rolled out. So often we find, from our experience in the UK and increasingly overseas, that seemingly trivial details in the way a policy or an intervention is implemented can have far more consequential impacts than not. And to be able to understand what the effect of these trivial design changes are, we need to be very good at measuring how effective our interventions are. So I guess that's a long way of saying, where possible, we should roll out interventions, do what we're already doing, but induce variations and trial as many different variations given a useful starting point as possible. So we wouldn't necessarily think that we should just adopt a trial and error approach. That's absolutely not right. But given a framework like behavioral science, we should begin to identify what these small details can actually do. Well, first of all, what works in the lab may not work in the field, so we must trial that properly. But secondly, I think particularly one of the challenges will be for people moving from the lab into the field, actually convincing the implementers, so the people who are currently operating, have close contact with end users or policymakers themselves, it's convincing them that what has worked in the lab should at least be tried. Being able to understand what policymakers and other practitioners, what their priorities are, and actually what their restrictions are too, and being able to compromise when suggesting what the best learnings from the lab are really, really helpful. Sometimes that we've found in the past is making incremental step changes to existing interventions can be the most successful way to roll out a policy.